Hello, everybody. So, I'm doing an emergency live stream here about how to survive the crash and what moves I have made on this in order to survive the crash, as it were. And so I hope you guys are doing okay out there. I'm going to talk somebody off the ledge today, possibly. And let's get you guys rolling today. So say hi when you come in, and we'll see how we can't survive this all together here. And I think this was anticipated at this point, and but the Chinese news did not help. And so I'm going to go over some techniques that I am using and that I actually took. I'm going to show you what I did today, basically, in order to survive this. And I think it's important to understand that these dips happen, and it's part of the cycle of money and the way to survive these things. This is not financial advice, but this is my approach to it. And I've done okay with this stuff over the years, and you have to look at it. This is actually a money-making opportunity, and some people are freaking out, and especially if you're younger and you haven't been through something like this yet. You might be like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Hey, if you bought it like 70 cents, yeah, okay, things don't look good. But there are ways to make money on this, and this is when the money is made. When there's blood in the water is when money's made. Well, I've got 105 guys already. Let's get some likes in here. I've got 105 current viewers. Let me know in the chat what you want to hear about and what you want me to answer, and I'll start taking questions as well. My name's Blue Hair Dave. Dave Gioacchini is my name. I almost wish it wasn't what's up, Pablo? I almost wish it wasn't Blue Hair Dave, because sometimes I'm sick of dyeing my hair. But I wish it was like Blue Pants Dave. Then I could wear pants. You don't even know if I'm wearing pants right now. I might not be wearing pants, but I might be. I probably am, but who knows? So let me go into the comments real quick. Give me a couple likes here once you come in. So I'm going to explain what I have done today, and then and also why I was gone for like over a week, and explain all that. And so we got lots to catch up on here. But here's what I did today, okay? Or last night is what I did. I anticipated, and this is what I did with my Dogecoin. I'm going to go over Dogecoin, but this goes for anything that's going on here, whether it's Bitcoin, because here's Bitcoin right now. And that's at 37. It went to a low of 30,000 today. Ethereum had a low of 1,619. It's back up to 2,472. And Cardano, these are one of the ones I'm going to focus on, because they're the ones that I have money in mostly. And this went down to a low of $1, back up to $1.47. But they're all off their all-time highs by a large amount, and they're all off by their like couple days high. Yeah. Pablo says, thanks for putting the reggae Doge in the beginning of the movies. I try and do that all the time, so I'll have to remember to do that if that helps you guys out. Do I think this will drop more? It might. I don't know, that's not the answer you want to hear, but yes, it can. We're in a different territory right now, and there's so much news to go over, so much info. But let me show you what the danger is and what I did. So somebody just asked, what's the danger? Let me explain the danger. And I'm going to have to file out here for a second before I take like any questions and stuff like that, and I'll get to all that. Let's go out 1 month. I almost can't fit it on the screen here because it's been such high and low. And let me try and get this. This is a pretty big jump here. So here's what the problem is. If you got 1 month, this was the 5 cents range from April. This is a huge jump up, and there's going to be a reckoning no matter what on the way towards $1. There's going to be a reckoning. And this is for all cryptocurrency right now. And what happened is that the China news is like half of the news. The other half of the news is the inflation risk. And this is why it's affecting the Dow Jones, everything right now. Why is inflation a problem? Inflation is a problem because that means that there's going to be tightening monetary coming up probably in the future. That means higher interest rates. When there's higher interest rates and tightening of the monetary policy, there's less money to go around. A lot of this bubble from mid-April, and this happened in Bitcoin, everything. I don't even need to switch charts because I can show you the same thing pretty much. It all went into cryptocurrency, and a lot of that stimulation money from the US at least went into people buying Dogecoin. It's a fact. When there's not more money to be put in, and people sell because they panic, it doesn't have the same recovery optics. Now, I'm not talking about $1. I'm just talking, let's get to 50 cents. So here's what I did. Now, I want to preface this by saying this is speculation, and I've got the money to play with. I've got the money. My mortgage is paid. I can still go take a trip somewhere. This is just play money, okay? This is gambling money for me. And what I did is last night I anticipated a big problem. And we were all let's see where we were last night. So we were up in the mid 40s last night. And what I did is I set automatic buy orders at 40 cents and 35 cents. I didn't think it would go much below 35 cents. I did not think it was going to go to 20 cents. I now have a buy order, a substantial buy order at 20 cents as well. I wish I would have had that last night. This is a volatile market. Now I've got the money on my account that I'm from 5 cents. I'm still holding much of that all the way through $1 and past. In the meantime, volatility is where you can make a lot of money with swing trading. So I'm going to put money in and take money out of Dogecoin and Bitcoin and any other coin I can. I'm putting my big boy pants on. I've got money that I'm holding, but I've also got money that I'm going to use swing trading this. Now, some people might get mad, but you know what? The more money that's being added to the market cap with Dogecoin, the better it is for the coin. The more activity it is, the better it is. So yes, I'm going to swing trade it because this is when you make the money. So if I would have had that automated 20 cent order in, you've already doubled your money, right? So this is like a yard sale. Hey, what's up, Roby? So I put those automatic orders in. And then I've also got automatic sell orders going on too. So what I did is I placed my order for 50 cents and then 60 cents. And I could stagger it more to reduce my risk. So if you're buying on the way down and I want to price average down, I want to get my average down, I should have done it at like 40 cents, 35 cents, 30 cents, 25 cents, 20 cents, and then actually started selling back on the way up at a certain point. Maybe it was like 35 cents all the way up through 40. A swing trade, I just got a question for that, is when you buy low and sell high within like a couple hours or a couple days or even a couple weeks. Technically, this is, if you're not just buying and holding for long term, you're swing trading. Most people are swing trading. And then when in crypto world, you call it, I'm going to hodl. I'm going to hold on for dear life no matter what and look at it in 10 years. I also do that because I think the future of cryptocurrencies is good really long term. But there's a lot of money to be made. If I can make 25 to 50 to 100% money on the swing, say the 20 cents. If I would have bought $10,000 worth of Dogecoin at 20 cents, I could have sold it at 40 cents and doubled my money. Now you make 10 grand in a day, right? So that's the play I'm going at now. I'm looking to make 25 to 50% though. I thought my guess was the China news is much worse than people think and added inflation. People thought in the comments, they said, oh, Dave, the China thing, it's old news. It doesn't mean anything. I got tweet comments. I got comments on the videos. It doesn't mean anything. It's old news. Well, it's the second the Chinese markets opened, crypto crashed. And then the rest of the world had to react to that. So that's what happens. It's not a value judgment. It's just that is what is. That's what happened. That's what's going on. So I was like, I'm going to buy. It's going to go down, and I'm going to buy it on the way down, and it's going to go back up. Now, I could have been doing this the broker does this in here, and I could have been doing this and making tons of money the last like 2 months, but I wasn't. But I did paper trade a lot of it where I see how much would have been made. And within a 48 hour, there's an availability to make 50% profits on Dogecoin. And this is what the whales are doing. Now, my money's not going to push the market around, but that's what these whales have been doing, and people get angry. But can you blame them? So here's what's going on with this. They're doing what I'm doing, except they've got the ability to move the market. So if you've got $1 billion and you buy Dogecoin at 30 cents, and then it goes up to 40 or 45 cents, and you've got $1 billion, you just made about a 25% profit on $1 billion. That's a lot of money, right? So that's $250 million profit. And what they do is they'll scale their dipping off. What's up, broker? Your ears must have been burning. Talking swing trading here and how whales are most likely doing this. And then they'll set prices where they'll say it hits a certain amount, we're going to sell off a little bit at a certain amount. And then once it gets to their predicted point or a point of profit, which 25% is huge. If you're swing trading on regular stocks, you're hoping to get 10% is a really good day. 25% is outrageous. 50% is crazy. The crypto world can be manipulated with news much more easily than regular stocks can too, because there's not really an underlying product behind it technically. So market psychology is what it's all about. And so what they're doing is taking $1 million, and what they can do is actually push the market down. And so when they start selling off to gain their profits, say there's like the 25%, they'll make the most of the 25, and then they'll sell it till it actually moves the market down. And then they'll sell on the way down at portions. So they'll sell it, say 40 cents, 35 cents, 30 cents, but back down to whatever their price was, even lower. It pushes the market down a little bit. People follow along, and then they buy back in again and do the whole thing over again, up and down, and they make money the whole way. That's kind of what swing trading is if you've got billions. Now, my position is smaller than that, but I can still make thousands of dollars a day by doing it if it follows me along. It has been. Now, is today the big day? Is this it? Is this what happened to crypto in 2017? Is this the reckoning again, which will come again? I don't know. I don't think so, because there hasn't been anything cataclysmic with it. But if the timing, 3 months is about what happens when these huge bubbles launch. So anybody who wasn't around in the game in 2017 doesn't remember that happening. Now, I think there's a difference this time, and that is institutional investment into all cryptocurrencies, even Dogecoin, which would have been unthinkable 4 months ago. The difference is institutional investment. But why is this a really bad wrinkle with that right now? Why the volatility? Well, it's because China just said, we're not allowing any institutional investment. So if another large country like the United States or the EU follows suit, which I don't really think they can, then that's it. All bets are off. Bitcoin goes down to $7,000, maybe lower. Dogecoin collapses to 10 cents again. That could happen. That's why there's a sell-off right now of people worrying about that. Do I think that's going to happen? No. But is there the risk of people thinking that might happen? Yes. And that's where psychology plays into any kind of investments, especially highly speculative ones like we're seeing here. So Donald says China can own crypto, they just can't use it as a currency. Yes, neither can their businesses or their banks or their payment systems. So people saying it's not a big deal, people can still buy. Yeah, okay, great. So retail can do crypto. So you're looking at half the picture. So the future of cryptocurrency being used in everyday life in China, the world's probably going to be the world's largest economy in 10 years. And controlling economy, by the way, in like 10 years, because the United States is a whole different subject, has not been planning for this, has not been planning for the future for at least 20 years. So China, yes, and that's a big deal because that's like the US saying no more crypto. So that's what's kind of happening. Now, what I'm doing is going to take advantage of the volatility to my best ability, because you can only do what you can control. Can I control Dogecoin not flying up towards $1 right now because of 2 bad news stories hitting on the same day or 24-hour period? I have no control over that. But what I can do is make some money in the meantime, and that's what I'm trying to do. Now, I'm underwater right now on my bet. I'm going to call it a bet because this is gambling at this point. Because it's so speculative, it's almost like gambling. It's not like gambling. I'd say the odds are much better on this. what I'm doing is saying over the last month, has this dipped and then went back up like this? You know, we'll just do this. You see all the volatility? It was money to be made, money to be made, money to be made, money to be made. These are all 50% gains or much larger. So 45 to 65. So these are like 50% gains. There's large gains here, large gains. And this happens over like a couple day period. So what I'm just gambling, or my guess is I'm guessing that we will go up to the 50 cent range again within a couple days. That this tracks up like this. And at that point, I make a 50% gain on my money. So that is what's kind of happening here. So Ram Toter, you crash the whole market. It works like that sometimes. How long for a bounce back? Well, let me take a look at this a little in depth here. So we went from about 47 cents a day ago all the way down to 20 cents briefly, and then back up here. The question is this a dead cat bounce? And I'll explain that in a second. Or is this just a floor and there's faith and there's rebounding? And I'm going to go with the second choice, that it's not a dead cat bounce. Now, what's a dead cat bounce? A dead cat bounce is if you throw a cat off. Don't do this, but if a cat falls off a building and it hits the ground, it'll bounce up a little bit before it just settles down, right? And so with stocks, with the market, there's a dead cat bounce. Same with crypto, where there's a temporary floor and then people lose faith overall and they sell. I don't think that's happening right now. There's a chance it is happening. My exposure isn't such that I'm going to care all that much. It's money that I know I'm being risking. You don't get a 50% gain on something without it being very high risk. It's just the way there is. So I think it's going to trace back up towards 50 cents, probably 46 to 50 cents. I think it's going to take a day or two. It could happen tonight because I don't know. I think it's a sale. If you were worried about Dogecoin and not getting in soon enough, great. If you're at 70 cents, there's not much I can tell you that's going to make this happy. If you bought in at 70 cents and you wanted to make money in the meantime until you got that money back and you had extra money, then if you had an automatic buy order at 20 cents, you are stoked right now. You could have already doubled your money. If I don't know what you're playing with. Now, if you're somebody that took your life savings and bought in at 60 cents, I'm sorry. You're just gonna have to sit and wait. Now, what am I gonna do with my positions today? I have another buy order at 20 cents. I don't want to miss that again. So it's my account's buying more Dogecoin if it hits 20 cents randomly, because I think whether it's today, tomorrow, next week, or next month, the price is going to hit 50 cents again. And then I'm going to sell a lot of that. This is just what I'm playing with. And then I'll do it again. And then I'll buy in at 40 cents again. What I'm guessing, what my bet was, is that I was betting it would go between 35 and 40 cents and 50 cents and vacillate throughout the next week or two. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. And I was going to make money in the meantime. Why? Because my wife seems to want a new kitchen. So that's why. So I figured I'd make kitchen money with that money. Now, if you're averaging at 7 cents and my average was 5 cents for my long term, but I had to also set aside my feelings and say, let's make money in the interim. Right. And so, this applies to Bitcoin, Ethereum, all of them, because there's volatility right now and there's a lot of money to be made in volatility. When Coinbase lists Dogecoin, it's going to help. Yes, it's going to add a really large money source and availability to it. So, and Crypto Stocks is asking, what about China banning cryptos? China banned cryptos. Here, let me put the article up for everybody. China banned financial payment institutions from cryptocurrency. So the banks, the payment systems that people use, people are like, what's accept Dogecoin at, whatever. And PayPal, you can use Bitcoin, Dogecoin. China says no. We don't want any of our institutions involved with cryptocurrency. If you're a Chinese citizen and you want to go buy some crypto and you want to, use your techniques or whatever, go ahead. But the companies, which by the way are government supported, they're not an open democracy, right? So their businesses and the government are mixed. They get help when they need support, and the government can pick winners and losers. That does happen in Europe and the United States, but not to the extent that it happens in China. This is an advantage they have as a society, but there's prices to pay, and that's political. We won't talk about that with like freedoms and things like that. Also, you have to be inside the system in order for them to favor you, which does happen. Yes, we know about money in politics. Does happen here to a large extent with lobbying and things, but this is like an official tie. And all those companies can't use cryptocurrency for this. So that is what's occurring. This was kind of on the books before, but they just basically reiterated and said, don't even think about it. So if you're a company and you start to mix in and start to get into crypto, and you're a bank and you want to start offering your clients investment portfolios into crypto, I'm not sure what the banks are called. And any U.S. bank that's operating in China that wants to do this, you can't do it. The JP Morgans, the Goldman Sachs of China cannot do anything in crypto. That's what this said. It was a big deal. Yes. So those laws in China have been in place since 2017. Everybody keeps saying this. Okay. They just said, okay, it's like this. It's like telling your kids or somebody, you can't do such and such, but you let them get away with it once in a while. You're looking the other way. You're not looking. You're just like blah, 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 blah. And then when you say, hey, you're punished. And anybody else who does this is going to pay a price by losing their ability to do business with us. That's what happened on this notice. So there's a difference. So everybody keeps saying this has already been news this morning. I don't care what the opinion is of this, because I keep getting these comments, and that is true. You are not wrong. But this all started yesterday, the volume pickup, when it started to tank, when the markets in China opened, okay? The Chinese markets took it very seriously. So I think that anybody else should take it seriously, because the Chinese markets took it very seriously. No, Chris, that's not correct. The Chinese markets didn't react to Reuters' article. They reacted to the news about this. That's what I'm trying to say. This isn't like a wild dash of fake news ruining things. There's a reason why people reacted to this. And the proof is in the pudding. It's not a wild goose chase. The news was bad. It was bad. It still is bad. It's like, imagine this. The speed limit is 65, right? Everybody where I live drives 80, because that's the speed limit. It's actually the safe speed to drive is about 75 to 80, because that's the flow of traffic. So everybody drives 75 miles per hour to 80 miles per hour. If you're going slower than that, you need to be in the far, far right lane. If you're driving 65 on a freeway in California, you should be in the far right lane, like your car's broken down with hazards on, because it's actually dangerous, because everybody's driving 80, right? So it's safer to drive 80, the flow of traffic. Now, all of a sudden, but the law says 65, right? But nobody's getting a ticket for driving 75 when on the freeway. Now, all of a sudden, there's a photo camera or a thing in your car, and every car that drives 66 miles per hour gets a $300 ticket. Or they say, you know what? You can't drive anymore if you drive 66 miles per hour. That's what this news was like. There was a suggestion on the books for the law, right? But now they're going to enforce it. That's what happened with this Chinese news. That's the difference. You guys get it? All right. So that was bad news. And then that was half of it, because they're like, okay, that's just one market, institutions, people can still buy crypto, no big deal. And so then what the rest of it is really inflation, okay? And inflation is a bigger problem than China. And the reason inflation is a bigger problem than China is because when there's inflation, money has to tighten in order for inflation to cool down. Although the reason for our inflation is not necessarily monetary, it is monetary policy, it's all the free money. And the problem with inflation right now, at least in the United States, I don't know how this is in Europe, is that we don't have enough people to work right now, and people have a lot of money. People have a lot of money because the government gave them money. People don't want to work because the government is giving them money. And there was a study recently about this where people thought it was because of fear of going back to work, vaccinations, but that's all out the window now because anybody who wants a vaccination can get one, and anybody can go back to work and do it safely at this point if you're an adult. And childcare. And there was a big study that was just done recently that childcare was a very small reason for people not wanting to work. The rest is basically why bother working. Anecdotally, I can tell you this is true for my friends that own businesses, and they can't get people to come in for the interviews. They call for the interview and they apply, but they don't show up for the interview because they've met the requirements to keep getting the unemployment and the government stimulus. So there's a lot of money. That's going to stop. It's already stopping in a bunch of states in the United States. But people right now, they can't find enough employees, which is crazy, which means that the economy is on fire right now. And because the economy is on fire, there's a lot of extra money in there from the stimulus money. A large portion of that stimulus money was placed. People bought crypto with it. Like legitimately, people used to go out and buy like a big screen TV with their stimulus money, which is what the government wants you to do, by the way. They want you to buy things to help, buy dinner, buy fancy stuff, put money back into the economy. That's the purpose of the stimulus. It's not for savings. It's not for your rent. It's for everything else. And people bought crypto with it instead. And as of right now, a lot of those people bought it at like 50 cents. They just lost that money. So there was a bunch of money that went into the economy, and then they just lost it again. And to be double bad is that a lot of it got eaten up by crypto and just disappeared. It literally just disappeared. So that is compounding to this, which puts it more in a bubble situation, which is not good. Also, with the inflation, there's not enough truck drivers. So anybody try to buy lumber lately? Or your Starbucks doesn't have straws or whatever fancy milk you get put in. Have you guys noticed all that stuff? Like, there's not enough truck drivers because they don't want to work because you can make just as good money without working. Any job that pays under $20, $25 an hour, people don't want to come to work right now. So there's a shortage on items. They can't get people to mill things. You can't get people to do anything. And that's causing inflation because the cost of goods are going up, even though it doesn't need to. It's going up for a weird reason. It's going up for an employment reason, which is crazy. They didn't ban the straws. They just can't ask you if you want a straw. You have to ask for it. So just to clarify, the California ban on straws. It's not a ban. You just can't. It's like water. You have to ask for your water. They can't offer it to you. So there's, either way, it's hard to get people to fill these spots. And that's causing the inflation to go up. And when there's inflation, the only thing the government can do is give away less money, which means less money going into crypto, by the way. And also, the cost of money gets more expensive, which means there's less money circulating to cool down the economy so that people don't need to buy as much stuff, believe it or not. And so when monetary policy gets tighter, people get tighter with their money. And that's what's happening. Ready Player One, kind of. Yeah, in a small form. It is. So, hey, guys, can I get like 20 likes? How about that? I just rambled on there for a while explaining the economy, what's happening in the economy right now. And I might not know a lot about enough, but I am 96% sure what I just said is dead on accurate. So plan accordingly. My bet, like I said, is that I think Dogecoin's on sale. It was really on sale earlier, and I think it's going to march back towards 50 cents. Bitcoin, here's what I called literally in one of my videos. Check out my videos when you subscribe. Thank you. I literally called the 30,000 mark dead on. I didn't read that in some article and reiterate or anything. That was my price break. And I said it'll hold at 30. And if it doesn't hold at 30, people think I'm crazy. I think you could see Bitcoin fall all the way down below 10,000 again. I don't know if it'll hold the next time it hits 30. So just beware of that. And I'd love to be a cheerleader. Maybe I'd have more subscribers if I was just cheerleading all day, but I want to give you guys what I think is the facts. And I don't know if Bitcoin holds past 30 again. Yeah. 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 So Ramtoter, you have a situation that's happened to a bunch of people too. What I'm speaking to are more of the people that would do the work that needs to be done, like at mills, factories, fast food, anything from minimum wage all the way up to like the $25 or something. So people can't find workers. It's just, that's all there is to it. Every business is hurting. And the high-end jobs, actually, people are getting paid higher. And like, so if you're in like 120,000 plus job, you're actually getting pay raises. So, yeah. Yeah, and it's not that people don't want to work. Well, some people don't. Some people, they kind of want to, but they'd be almost foolish to go into work if you could make about the same amount of money and spend time with your family. So it'd be almost foolish to not take advantage of what's being offered. I had this discussion the other night, and they were complaining because they can't find employees for their company. And we were sitting around having some tequila and whatnot. And it was like, and they're like, I can't find people to hire. And I'm like, well, pay them more. Maybe you'll get more people, which is what's happening now. Bank of America is going to pay a $25 minimum wage moving forward. They also only have like 10% of the force that they used to need. They only have like 2 people working in the bank now, right? So if you've ever been to the bank lately. And they're like, I can't find people to work and it sucks, this and that, blah, blah. I was like, look at it this way. I go, do you pay more in taxes than you're legally obliged to? Or does your tax accountant write off everything that you're allowed to write off legally? And they're like, well, I write off everything I'm legally allowed to. And I said, exactly. So is that any different than the person who is getting money, their state's offering it, and they can still get it? So they're taking advantage of something that's offered to them legally. Now, if they're lying and they really couldn't find work, well, that's a problem, right? Because then you're cheating. You're actually committing a crime doing that. I think that's even a federal crime. Yep, McDonald's, they pay $50 for you to show up to an interview now. A lot of the McDonald's stores, because they can't find enough people. And I've also got news for you on this. Fast food restaurants made so much more money not having their lobbies open because their labor was down 25%, which, by the way, labor is their largest cost. You getting paid at McDonald's to work at McDonald's is their largest expenditure. They'd rather not have the extra employees. They make a larger profit just having the drive-thru open. And so they can't find people to work. So they're trying to find a way to not have to have people work inside the store except for cooking, taking orders at the drive-thru. So yeah. And because these people are paying more per hour, between the fact that, can you guys see my stream? But when they're paying that much an hour, they have to raise their prices. So everything's going to go up in price, and stuff's not going to come down in price. The only way that the inflation, the price that you're starting to see pop up, come down, is if there's like some kind of economic depression. Yeah. It just lagged. I don't know why. That was YouTube, or maybe my kids playing Fortnite or something. But don't forget to subscribe, guys. I'm probably going to, yeah, I know. I'm probably, in case I buffer again, I'm also going to do another one of these tonight, I think. So make sure you subscribe. I might even do tinfoil hat night tonight. Yeah, 18 is definitely poverty where I live. I'm in San Diego. And San Diego has like two economies. There's the service industry, and then there's everybody who works in like high paying jobs like marketing. You own businesses, restaurants, offices, real estate, biotech. We work for Microsoft. Apple's opening up a huge hub down here now. Those jobs pay a couple $100,000. So it's people making over $200,000, like in the 200 to 500 range, and the couples make anywhere from 400 to 700,000 a year, and then people that make like 40 to 50,000, $30 to $50,000. There's like no in between. It's crazy, and you can't own a house unless you're in that top one. But there's a lot of people in this area that are in that top income range, and then most people are in the bottom one, and it's like there's this two. It's like two worlds. So it's just how it is where I live. The average price of a house is $850,000 as of this week. That's the average price of like a small house. An $850,000 house in Georgia is probably the same house is probably $170,000 in Georgia for like the same if you just move the house. Like a 3-bedroom, 1-bath is $850. 3-bedroom, 2-bath maybe. And it's not going to change anytime soon. It's not a bubble, housing bubble. It's literally supply and demand. Yep. All right, I'm going to start looking at these comments. Sorry about my rambling, but I hope that helped explain how I'm planning on to make money. Broker, I agree. It's a caste system. I've been saying it for years. There's the service, and then there's the people that were making it, and then like I guess professionals you would call them. There's the guy that owns the bar, and then there's the people that work at the bar. And there's no in between. So do I see similarities between potential crypto bubble in 2017 and present? .com bubble. Thanks, bro. Thanks for the question, Sean. Yes. Now, is this the end? Is what happened in 2017 is going to happen with what's going on right now? 100%. Is this it? I don't know. But is that going to happen? Yes. Is it going to fall as much as it did after 2017? No. It is not. How can you protect yourself it's not going to fall as far as it did in 2017. So let's take Dogecoin as an example, our beloved Dogecoin. Dogecoin is not going back to 5 cents. Dogecoin's low end on its worst day is probably going to, if it sits somewhere, is 20 cents. Today's a bad day. 30 cents might be like it's worth, if you did like a week's average, maybe 30 cents. It's much better than 5 cents. Is that a consolation for anybody who bought it at 70 cents? No. But historically, it's a huge jump. It was a great investment. Now, what do I think it's going to do? I think it's still going towards $1. Now, because Dogecoin has some room to fly. And I think Bitcoin's not going to die off, I don't think. But I'm prepared for if these do happen, to go buy in big and not miss the next run up. Is it going to take another 4 years for it to rebound? No. It's going to be like a 6 month to a year lull. I think my personal strategy is I think Dogecoin's on sale, and it's going to head towards $1, but it's going to go 50 cents sometime in the next couple days. It's going to be very volatile. It might go up to 60 cents, but you know what? We're going to see 30 cents again, 35 cents again too. So keep that in mind. Yeah. And the problem is this, patience. People don't have patience. So if you bought because you think Doge is going to go to $1 and you're worried about it right now, well, that's just crazy, because you were planning on it to go for $1 and you knew it was going to take a while, right? So, my bit rate says it's weird. It says it's low, which is crazy. So, I'm having tech problems, I think. But you have to have patience. It wasn't going to go to $1 overnight, right? So same way. Now, if you were trying to swing trade on the day, yeah, you got screwed. So I think if you bought it 70 cents, you can buy a ton of it at 35 cents and get your average better. But a lot of people don't have that kind of money, right? So I happen to have my trading money still sitting there and able to use it when I need it, right? You don't want to just say, you don't want to shoot your gun. Say you got 10 bullets and you don't want to be like, shoot 8 of them, right? And leave 2, right? You shoot a couple and then you might need more later on, right? So I got bullets sitting, waiting, because that's where you make the big money. So yeah, we don't have a caste system. In fact, I agree with you, Broker. Broker says the best part of America is the hard work can elevate you out of one caste into another. And it is easier to stay rich once you're rich. Definitely true. And some countries, it's virtually impossible to do that. And that is true. And Bot Studio says, don't know which state that I've been in 7 estates in each corner, and it's dead wrong. Yeah, I'm not so sure about that, because here's why. And I agree with Broker on this. People think it is, but if you're born in the United States of America, and some people are going to hate me saying this, and you can't get by because you can get a free junior college education, basically, which is an associate's degree, right? And then you can get a scholarship from that to get an college education without loans, by the way. It's on you ultimately, and here's why. Because there's nothing stopping you from getting a scholarship academically. Now, if you're in a household, there are exceptions where your parents are deadbeats and they're requiring you to work from age 15 to help pay the rent or the mortgage on the house, and because they're on disability and they can't work, or they refuse to work because of depression or the man's too hard or whatever it is, that's a problem, right? You've got a shitty hand of cards. But there's nothing stopping anybody in this country, for the most part, from becoming a surgeon or an anesthesiologist. Everybody can get an A, just about. If you're mediocre or smart, you can become a doctor. You can do it without paying any money, too, if you get all A's. But very few people want to study the extra 5 hours a night to do it, and then go to JC to get the all A's in JC, and then move on. You can get a full scholarship for the last 2 years of college and then go on to med school. And if you need to, you can get loans, but a lot of the time you can't, because you just need to get all A's, right? So that's the easiest, most venture. It's possible, right? So, like, I'm not a doctor. You know why I'm not a doctor? Because I didn't want to put all that fucking work going to med school, right? I'm not made for that. That sounds like a lot of work. I didn't want to do it. I'm too lazy. I'll admit it. I'm too lazy. Right? So all right, here we go. So it says, Apple Hair Dave, I got a bachelor's and my industry fled to Southeast Asia, but I was working for $15.50 an hour and President 45 taxed me more. So, okay, so you're going to say your station right now in life is because of being taxed by a president, which, by the way, you're not the only person on the planet that's being taxed, and where your job left. So do you know anybody in your industry that does well? UWU Bot Studio. I'm going to posit that question. Do you know anybody in your industry that makes a lot of money? That's the question you need to answer. And there's no... So, nope. Okay. You picked the wrong industry to be in. Right? So, what was your intention of taking that job knowing that you couldn't make money? Or once you realized that you can't make money, what did you do at that point? Is the question. And I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying, like, I'm wondering what you did at that point. Because there's always a counter move or a solution that can be had. And what I found is that people who say it's hopeless and I can't do anything because the society's holding me down, those people have 0% chance of improving themselves in any form or manner. And the people that say this situation is fucked, this, and this are wrong, and it sucks. And then they go, okay, now I know these 3 things are against me. How do I get rid of those obstacles? And then they work getting rid of them, which is possible. So you got to figure out, when did you realize you can't make money doing what you do and that nobody makes money at all? So they're like, oh, I made a really bad choice training for this job and being in this job, right? It's like somebody who's like, I'm going to become a tape player, repair person, and manufacturer. And nobody uses tape players anymore, right? Like, the cassette tapes. Well, you just picked a shitty industry, right? Or maybe it made money when you started it, and then they saw digital music was coming out, or CDs. You have to make an adjustment, right? That's when the adjustments happen. So it's possible. Not everybody can do it. Not everybody can, but the only way to make improvements. Yeah. So see, Gregory, you did it because you want to save lives, right? Yeah. So you didn't do it for the money, right? So you knew becoming a medic, not going to get rich. You made that. You made that trade. You're like, I'm going to be a medic. You want to save lives. You could have saved lives being a doctor, right? So you could be a medic right now. You can go to, if you really want to be a doctor, you could choose not even an ER doctor, because they don't even make that much, right? You could become whatever doctor makes a bunch of money. Now, do you want to do that? No. But could you? Yes. Is there a law stopping you? No. Right? So that's what Broker was saying. There's no caste system law where it says you were born with this last name, you're this caste, and you would never be anything more than a servant at a house. So that's what Broker was saying. And that's what I believe. I believe there's always a way to work your way to something else. Ah, the old dispensary trick. Yeah. Yeah, they make a lot of money. You know what though? They get screwed on their business model. You can't write off federal taxes on your stash, your product at your dispensary, because it's not federally legal. Yeah, and you get into fire service. Yeah, and so hey, being a firefighter is a really cool job, isn't it? I don't know one firefighter that doesn't love being a firefighter. They love going to fire. And think about it. I mean, I got my cousins who all been volunteer firemen. And then I lived across the street from a fire station. Those guys always smiling because they were either working out or cleaning the truck or having chicks whistle at them. Chicks love firemen, right? They sure do. And so they're like the only man job where you get catcalled by women. And then they'd work out all day long and clean the trucks. And then they go put out a fire once in a while. They thought it was the coolest job ever. I can't blame them. Get freedom. No, I did not look at your stuff. No. Yep. And then you work on the side business on the side. Yeah. None of this is financial advice. These are just the ways that my brain thinks. And believe me, for the first, in my 20s, I had the opposite mindset. I would try everything entrepreneurial and I would fail at all of them terribly. Worst businessman on the planet. I'm still a terrible businessman, but I somehow figured out how to make it work. And I was always trying something, but I always blame my failures. You know who wasn't to blame whenever I failed? When I was in my 20s and my probably early 30s, I would never blame myself. I'd always blame the system, the government, the man, and I would spend all my energy about a system that was broken, about how everything was unfair, this and that. And then I was like, you know what? I'm a white dude in the United States of America. If I can't make it here compared to like some immigrant who's coming from Kenya who doesn't even speak English, and this guy becomes an accountant and he's making 6 figures, that's on me at that point. It's not the system. Nothing's perfect. Shitty things. But I was to blame for my own situation. I was responsible for the good and the bad that happened to me because I was only responsible for how I handled it. And the second I started to look in the mirror and take accountability, not to say that there aren't bad luck scenarios and people have terrible situations they grow up in. They definitely do. But the only thing we can control is how we react to those situations. And if we throw our hands up in the air or put our heads in the sand, nothing happens, right? And so I just decided to blame myself. So, and that's what, sure, you're an engineer. You're not the only guy I know that tells me these stories, these horror stories. Bot Studios, are you an engineer? Because I have an engineer guy. He's 62 and he's I just read your Costa Rica. You seem to have some bad luck on some of these things. But if okay, 3D artist, okay. What is that? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know that industry. So, but it sounds like it's kind of enjoyable to do. But you kind of probably knew you weren't going to get rich doing that, right? So, is what it is. Is that Charles Swindoll? I'm pretty sure that's probably some other guy. I think Jesus said that. Life is 10% what happens to you, 90% how you react. Or is that somebody else? No, something like that. Yeah. So, can we stop spamming? What's his name? Did we get rid of this guy? Yeah, make some NFTs, man. Or offer to make people's NFTs for them. Find rich people that want NFTs and just make the NFTs for them. And charge them like $5,000 an NFT. Bro, stop asking the same question. You're like, are you a teenager or are you a grown man, right, Heath? I just got rid of you there. You can't just keep saying the same thing over and over again until somebody answers. ADD or not, bro. You can't do that. All right. Well, I wish you luck, Bot Studio. I think $40,000 a year is doable. Maybe I don't know how your Fiverr game is for advertising. But I imagine what you get paid for that kind of stuff is probably $30 an hour to $40 an hour, right? That's cool, Gregory. Yeah. See, people have crazy situations they come from. Mine wasn't all that bad, right? So, not to go into any of my background, but a lot of people have a lot worse, right? And so, my lack of success was completely due to my attitude, and I realized that. And when I changed it, my life literally took a turn within 6 months. So, I hope this motivational talk helps. I owned a bouncy house company where I'd deliver bounce houses, and I was terrible at that. I liked surfing more than I liked answering phone calls. I sold sunglasses. Sean, I think the whole crypto market has a decent future. So to answer your question, I think the whole thing, the whole thing. Hey, you know what? Bot Studio. Does anybody want to hear? This is off topic. Before I end any live streaming, I could go through this, but I don't want to waste too much time. But for anybody who's has like a gig job, I can give you some tips on how to get customers without paid advertising. Does anybody want to hear it? Tell me yes. And because this reminded me of somebody was complaining about It's All Risky and Elon Musk and how he only responds to It's All Risky and it seems like it's a setup. Okay, because this is my background. Okay, I'm a digital marketer. That's what my company does. I don't sell this service or anything like that. Okay, but I utilize it. Sean doesn't want to hear it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. If you're on Instagram, right, and you want to get clients, there's like it's called a mother-child technique, and there's a little side way to do this, and it's free, and it's word of mouth. But you create your word of mouth artificially to get people excited. Does that make sense? And this is what most people do when they slide into your DMs and they start asking, they're like, hey, I like your post. Do you do this a lot? You know, like whatever you're into, like whatever the thing is. So if somebody's making like artwork, or I don't know what your thing would be, but you find whoever your customer is, and you find what else that they're into, and then you go, and this is how you do it manually. And there's another way to do this en masse for really cheap. And you go and find out where those people are commenting on other people's stuff, and you go to their account, and then you start liking their posts. And it's time intensive. This is why you hire somebody offshore to do this stuff, because you can have somebody full time, $20 a day, do this for you in the Philippines. And they go and like these stuff, and then they comment. And they say, "Hey, really like what you're doing," and it's in the realm of what your company would help them with, right? And then they go, "Hey, you know, have you checked out Bot Studios? Have you checked out Bot Studios? They got some great stuff. They could probably help you out. You should contact him. Here's his link. Follow his Instagram page or whatever. He's got some great tips." And then that gets you way more followers quickly on like Instagram for a business or whatever than it does by putting it's not a spammer bot, but they're live bots. But yeah, it works. So people are worried about making money here. They're not worried about their botness. So, but that's basically a system that works. And people were talking about Elon Musk and It's All Risky, and they're like, "Oh, it's just some bro marketing account." And I'm like, "No shit, Sherlock." So half of those Dogecoin accounts that you see that have like 20,000 followers on them, that has a picture of a pretty girl, I'm gonna hate to break it to you, that's not a pretty girl. That's just some team that's in India or the Philippines that is pretending to be a pretty girl that is just super active all day long. There's a bunch of people that are paid to go online and like people's stuff and comment on it and then recommend things to them. It's, you know, so that's what's going on. That's how the marketing industry works for that. And if you're a sole contractor person, you can do the same thing as these large companies can, and it works. All right, Gregory, we have a trading question. Do you think whales will move towards stock and Forex markets because less volatility? It's a good time to make calls. No, the whales want volatility. You must have missed my earlier diatribe. This is exactly why whales are in crypto. This is easy pickings for them. They can even arbitrage price differences between markets with bots. So, like, stock market, like 15 years ago, before computers really got into it, is used to be able to arbitrage with prices, like for fractions of a cent. They can do, there's like 10% differences in pricing on different markets that they're arbitraging. So, yeah. So then Derek says, do you know where this is a place that you can day trade crypto as many times as you want a day? You need at least 25,000 to do it on Robinhood. Just get a Binance account and trade on Binance. There's no limit. My limit's $1 million a day, I think, or something. And I don't really have a huge account, so I don't think there's a limit on any of it. I'm also not trading on my margins either, by the way. I'm using cash, so for what it's worth. The margins is a little too risky for me. I don't like to go in the hole. I think if I lose money, it was money I set aside. You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever I carried into the casino with me is what I'm spending. I don't go to the ATM again. Let me see. You're welcome, Bot Studio. Yes, some people don't like that approach, but it works. It works. And then once you get the followers on Instagram or whatever it is you want to use them for, it's not isn't true. You know the comments you see on like my videos, and it's like, Bob, whatever trading saved my life. it's not really that. What you're doing is actually starting a conversation with somebody, and it's personalized. So literally someone would be like, hey, I saw your post. Have you got any ideas from, if you're running out of ideas, you want to see a really cool guy that does this, check his stuff out. You're just recommending it to a friend. Like follow his account is all it says. And then it's up to you at that point. And then what people do is they actually have call center team people. There's a whole level of things here. You have the army of people that are going into comments and complimenting people's posts and then saying, hey, if this works in like diet and fitness, right? For like some fitness coach. I see you're working out every day. I love your stuff. Have you ever thought about, this and that? And they say, follow this guy's account. And then when the account's followed, then that account goes, hey, I've noticed you follow blah, blah, blah. Do you want to jump on a call? And then they have a call center that does like the call thing. So it works. And everything up to that call was free except for the hourly you pay people to do the comments. And that's how all that advertising is done. Elon Musk does it, believe it or not. Okay, so. Johnson & Johnson probably does it for their Kleenexes, lotions. Oh. You're going to have Warriors, Lakers in traffic? Good luck. Good luck. I don't know. Weeble's probably fine. I'm just using Binance. Why isn't it verified? You're probably missing a step for the verification. I'll go back and check that out again. I saw that get freedom. We were having a conversation and then I left to do some other work. So I will get to that when I get a chance. Any other platform? Can somebody... There you go. Qcoin. Well, does your ID match your address? You have a passport or something? Oh. Yeah, I don't know. You have to talk to tech support about the P.O. Box thing. They might not allow that. You can't use a P.O. Box when you do monetary stuff for money laundering purposes. You can't even get a green dot card with a P.O. Box, I don't think. Which is interesting because people that... a lot of clientele that would need a green dot card from like Walmart or whatever are people that use P.O. boxes because they move around or whatever and they don't have like steady banking. All right. So I think I'm going to try and come back tonight maybe. I can't promise. I got football coaching to do in a little bit, so I'm going to have to roll out of here soon. But thank you for coming by, and I hope that me explaining what I was doing gives you guys some ideas if you want. And just to be patient that this could be a lot worse. It might get worse, but I don't think it's going to. And if it does, I've got a buy order sitting there waiting to spring into action so that I can make some more money. Join the Discord. We're popping off in there. So everybody have a great day, and hopefully I'll see you tonight. And if not, maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow, almost definitely. So have a good day, everybody. Be careful out there. Don't invest money that you don't have. Later.